Frak, this podcast, come and listen to us talk about Battlestar Galactica. It's a show that we're talking about. Hello, interwebs, and welcome to the Frak, this podcast. I am your Yuletide host, Jesse Gender, and I'm joined as always by...
You just went through a lot of euphemisms for holiday season these last few. We had Merry, we had Jolly, we now got Yuletide.
Getting them all out of the way, so I will not use them next year. I'll be like,
so
just use them all. So I hope.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let's underline that a couple times.
Though we should be, we'll probably be in either Capricorn or the original Battlestar Galactica by that point. So, yeah.
We'll be into something, and I'll still be keeping track.
How are you, Vero? For listeners, we are recording this between New Year's and Christmas. Christmas and New Year's, I should say, to put it in linear order. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now.
How am I?
For listeners, she's drinking her wine.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I know.
You know, the holidays were fine. Like there was nothing bad about them, but you know they're exhausting. They are draining financially, emotionally, mentally. But like it was fine. It was nice. Big ticket item that I ended up with was a recurve bow.
Oh, that's nice.
Which means I need to figure out where I can shoot the dang thing. Because I'm badly out of practice, and I've also got to start working out my arms again because it's like a 55, 60 pound pull bow, which I can pull it, but it's like that is harder than it should be. I gotta work on that.
That sounds fun. Damn, I haven't shot a bow in years. Used to do it at Boy Scout camp when I worked there, but regardless, I actually had a very relaxing Christmas. I went and saw family, which usually is very relaxing, but was very relaxing in my case. Yeah, I had a great time. We just chilled. We had like nice meals. So my partner Erin and I, we for the first time went back with her to the church that I went to when I was young. And this is the church that I went to with my dad and my stepmom, and it's a mega church. And God, it's like small for a mega church, but it is a mega church. It is
mini mega.
Yeah, they only have like 2 chapels in their giant thing, and
is that all?
2 jumbo screens and whatever. Anyways, and it was so culty. I want to be clear, listeners, if you listen to the podcast, you already know this, but like I'm not insulting anyone's religion or anything, but like this guy, his whole sermon was guilt-ridden, like you either fully live in the light of Jesus or you don't, and you need to come back to church, and and my favorite thing was, 2 things were my favorite. One is he when he said, like, he was like talking about people who don't live in the light of Jesus Christ or whatever, and he was like talking about like they live in sin and shame, and I swear maybe it was my imagination, but Aaron and I were sitting up near the front row, and we're the only visibly queer people in this entire fucking place. Like everyone is the most heteronormative, like 2.5 kids, man and wife families all over the fucking place. And I swear to God, whenever he's talking about living in sin, he kept looking at us. And like, I don't know if I was imagining it, but it was like it felt very clear, like looking over.
You had a guilty conscience.
Yeah, which was hilarious to Aaron and I. We thought it was very funny. But then also he said, like, when you're living in the light of Jesus Christ, he like mentioned things like, they don't even like, when I meet people who live with Jesus Christ, they come to church all the time. They don't even go out to drinks with friends. And I'm like, wait, really? That sounds horrible. Like,
one of Jesus's main things was drinking with his friends. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, he made water into wine. That was like a whole thing. It was very culty vibes.
Look, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I try very hard not to be blasphemous. I have no problem being heretical. I will not insult your religion. I will insult the fuck out of your church.
Oh yeah,
Fuck
100%.
your church. Fuck your mega church extra hard. God damn.
Yeah, it was a wild experience, and even my stepmom, who is like a very religious person, she was even like, yeah, that was weirder than I remember. 'Cause she hasn't gone to that church in forever because they live elsewhere now. We were just back there because my sister and brother still live there. And she was like, yeah, it was a bit cultier than I remember. Um, and
Well, I mean, that's good to know. I'm
yeah,
glad that
yeah,
it wasn't a case of going back and realizing, oh shit, it was always like this. Instead, it's like, oh, it's gotten worse. In
yeah,
an odd way, that's slightly better because it
yeah,
like does less to taint whatever your experiences there were,
yeah.
good or bad.
I had decent experiences there. I mean, we always like it was just like a nice community thing on Sunday, which was like the element of the religious part of it I could give two shits about. I still just remember we had another sermon that we went back for that I pissed off my stepmom on because I'm like, that was a stupid sermon. Nothing against, and I literally had to explain this because like nothing against like religion, but the sermon was stupid because this whole sermon was like, imagine there's a bunch of pennies and like we have all of these like he was talking about like all the different signs that Jesus was coming or whatever. Like there's all these different things about like Jesus would be born on this day and like under this like all the like signs that Jesus this that of like that prophesies Jesus. And he
Uh-huh.
was like, well, if you had like a jar of pennies, what are the chances of you pulling out a penny and that being the one that was Jesus? Like that all these things would line up and be Jesus. And I sat there listening to that and I'm like, that's a logical fallacy. It's so dumb because it's
The
like
odds
the
of
odds,
that
yes,
are one in however many pennies are in the
well,
jar.
no, the issue is like the odds because he was like getting all he was trying to make it seem like how crazy it is that someone would eventually like someone would end up like fitting all the criteria to meet Jesus. The odds of that were astronomical, and I'm like, well, the odds of you picking up a penny and that one being the one that fits all your criteria are not like nominal, but the odds of you of a penny in the jar fitting all of your criteria is actually likely higher than there not being a penny that fits your criteria in the jar. It's actually less miraculous if you think about it. And I
Well,
had to like
also,
tell my stepmom that, and she was like, "No." She like got very upset at me about that. I'm like, I just like I said, nothing against belief. I just think that's a stupid argument.
that's a terrible, not to mention just pure statistics. Your odds of picking up literally any one of those pennies are exactly the same as any other. It's like the odds of my picking this specific one, like, look, if it was in the jar, then your odds of picking that were exactly the same as picking
Well,
literally every other
I
thing in the
misspoke.
jar.
Like
What the fuck, man?
his point really was like the odds of there being a penny that fit all the criteria of like Jesus or whatever. The metaphor was very
Okay.
mixed, but it's like
How,
the odds of
what's
it.
the
The odds of it.
criteria for Jesus that a penny possesses? Sorry, you're breaking my brain with how fucking stupid this is.
It was a very bad sermon,
That's
and
awful.
yeah, and same with this one. Like that was my thing too. I was like critiquing it afterwards with the sermon with this guy, and I was even telling my stepmom, I'm like, look, like the culty vibe, like even the guilt ridden vibes, right? Like the guilt stuff is like that's common church shit, whatever. My problem was he had no story. There was no pizzazz in it. It was just the guilt. I'm like, give me a story. Like, tell me the fucking nativity story or whatever. Like the light of Jesus above. Like, not even that. It was just like, hey, you live in the light of Jesus or not guilt. And I'm like, draw me in. Give me something, man. Like you can't just start with the guilt because the only people that you're gonna get with that were people who are already like who have nothing and just want something or are already predisposed to feeling guilty. Like if
Yeah.
you're trying to convince anybody, this ain't gonna work on
Well,
anyone.
it's a mega church. He's trying to convince them to donate more money.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, which
That's
definitely came up, and they asked you to pick up their newsletter and da 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 da. Da.
uh
So yeah, it
which
was.
again, fuck your mega church.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Tax them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean this. I know he said it as a joke, but George Carlin, I think, rightfully pointed out the Catholic Church alone could wipe out the federal deficit if all you did was tax them on their real estate holdings. The instant, and I'm actually going to draw a line under this. I am not against the concept of religions being tax exempt, but the idea is that your religion is tax exempt because it's meant to be separate from the government. The instant your church or your religion or your denomination gets involved in politics, pay your fucking price of admission like everybody else.
I do not disagree. And maybe we can make that a political point in 2026. But for right now, we should talk about we should talk about the comments section on our 2025 wrap-up special. How was that
All
for a
right.
transition? It was fine. All right. Well, our first comment comes from Jacques Crichton, who, by the way, has their image. It looks like it's from Hilda. Their avatar image looks like it's from the show Hilda, which I liked Hilda. What a wonderful show.
I like Hilda. That was a lovely show. That was one
Yeah.
of the early shows I got kiddo to watch with me. Like
Mhm.
that and She-Ra were some of the really early ones I got them into that we watched together.
And I forgot that was what's their face from Last of Us. Blanking on their name off the top of my head now.
Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey. I forgot that it
Yeah.
was Bella Ramsey. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of neat.
Yep.
Um,
That is neat. I will rewatch Hilda before I will bother with a third season of The Last of Us. That second season, I was like, fuck
yeah,
off,
no,
man.
that's fun.
And the more I like, granted, I don't know front to back, but what little I knew about the second Last of Us game, I was already like, I think I might bail on this. And then I watched the second season. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck off.
Mm. What I would actually recommend is Jack Saint did a really good video. It's like an hour-long video about like Last of Us and Zionism and like how it like ties into all of that. It's a really, really good video. I'd highly recommend that before I'd recommend watching season 3 of the show. So yeah. Fun times. Anyways, we have Jacques Crichton says, if you do an Andor podcast, I suggest calling it On Program Podcast, which now I kind of want to do just for that.
It's tempting, ain't it?
Honestly, it would be a short podcast too. There's only 2 seasons, so it's not like it'd be a long podcast. So
It would, but it also kind of breaks our format because we've both seen it before.
it's true. It's true. I'll hit myself in the head enough times to forget it. We'll get there. But yeah, that'd be very, very fun. What was the other ones that I wanted to read? Let's see. Where the hell? I can't find the one that I was going to say.
Hmm.
Alas. Oh, you're gonna click. Well, Pearl May
That
says heart, heart,
that's
heart.
for wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, it says heart, heart, heart. Aw, wholesome ending because we shared how much we care about each other. And now that it is 2026, I can say officially, I still fucking hate you, Vera. Just to
Oh, I
ruin that all.
cannot stand you. I hate your goddamn
Ah,
guts.
you are the fucking worst. Um, let's see. Jeremy Adler said my favorite movies for this year in no particular order were Superman, Wake Up Dead Man, Freakier Friday, Naked Gun, and Brave New World, which is interesting. So, oh, also runner up is Thursday Murder Club. That looked like I wanted to watch that one. It had like a fun, whatever, like fun mystery vibes. So, yeah,
Brave New World is in Captain America?
I presumably.
Huh. I'm
Now,
glad
now,
I'm
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 glad you
glad
enjoy
you
it.
had fun.
Yes, that would be what I would say. And then Omega.
I'm not trying to throw shade. Just not something I would expect to see on a list.
Yeah,
That's
no, fair,
all.
fair. Omegal says, to be fair, I don't endure your nonsense, meaning us. I actively tune in for that. So,
Aw.
aw, that's silly. I don't know why you would do that. I'm
But please keep doing it.
yes, please keep doing it, but I'm also sorry because clearly you hate
Yes.
yourself.
Like we will capitalize on all this, but we don't understand. We don't know
Yeah,
why you
I don't
watch
get it.
slash listen to us
Yeah,
individually or together.
yeah, that sounds just terrible. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Well, that now we should have a passage of time. I got nothing for this one.
Hmm.
I got nothing for this one. Today we're talking about the episode The Passage of Battlestar Galactica. That was a shitty transition. I'm sorry, everyone. Uh, what's Vera doing? Oh, I get another click for that. Yay! Alrighty. Well, let us get into our recap of this episode. We start off by seeing Athena is in a raptor and she's basically getting blinded by the light. Revved up like a douche, another roller in the night. I don't know how that actually goes, but that's those the lyrics in my mind.
Yeah, I have no idea what you were just trying to sing.
Blinded by the light. I'm not gonna sing the rest of the words so that we don't get copyright. You don't know Blinded by the Light? Look,
Oh, oh, the
I
the
don't know
the
music. I
the
don't music.
Weekend song?
Presumably. No. Is it The Weekend? Leved up like he says douche in it, and that was always the very funny thing. How do you not know this? Wait, I don't know music that well, and I know this. How
Okay, look, here's
revved
where I
up
thought.
like a deuce, another runner in the night. That's how I always thought it was douche, not deuce. But again, that's a high school. That's like a middle school thing. Everyone thought it was douche. Okay.
So who sings this?
This is I mean, one version is Bruce Springsteen. It looks like but Manfred's Man's Earth Band. How do you
No.
no?
What do you
The,
mean?
no,
How do I not know this? You literally just said the name of a band that I have never heard
there's
before,
no
and
way
I
you
am
don't
50%
know.
convinced you just made up. What
Of
do you
course.
mean? How have I never heard of this? What is this?
Okay, I'm sending you the you're listening to this on stream. You don't we're not gonna play the music, but like I
Oh,
just
Christ.
there's no way you have not heard this song. If you have not
All
heard the
right,
song, my
hold
mind
on.
is gonna explode. I
Okay,
don't
because it might just be how bad you're
oh
singing this.
but again, blinded by the light, revved up
Stop.
like a deuce, another runner in the
You're
night.
not you're
How
not
do you
helping.
how do you not
Stop.
know this song?
Hold on.
Please, people in the Mira's face. Have you not heard that?
What do you, how have I not heard this? This is a band I've never heard of, off an album I've never heard of, with the weirdest fucking album art.
How do you?
No, it does sound like douche. I'll give you that
Yeah,
much.
it definitely does sound like douche. Like everyone in high school. How do you not know this
What do
song?
I not know this? Where the fuck have you heard? What? Okay,
Honestly,
I feel like I'm going crazy because
me
I feel
too.
like you had this specially made just for the
No,
purpose of
no,
gaslighting me so that
no.
you could do this whole you've never heard of Florp Flap? Like that's what you might as well have fucking said. I don't understand I've never heard any of this before, and you're acting like it was the biggest song for like 5 years, and I must have been under a rock. What the fuck is this? The hell?
Sorry, I might be dying. Oh, please comment. Tell me I'm not fucking crazy. This is like a
I'm
popular,
crazy.
well-known song. This is a popular, well-known song. It might be a one hit. I don't know anything about the band or the song. It's like a one-hit wonder, but like I like this is like one of those songs. I'm like everyone knows this goddamn song, right? Like how?
What? Everyone know what
Woo,
the fuck?
woo. I'm gonna be okay. I'm sorry, this is too funny. Oh, give me a second. Oh,
Manfred
oh.
Mann's Earth Band,
Yeah, like I
British
don't.
rock group.
I've never heard of this band, so like I think they were probably again. This is me not knowing fuck all about music. Like I know nothing about music to begin with, so like I am not the person to know this information. But like this is like I know for a fact this is like a known song. They might be a one hit wonder band, but like they are a this is a known song.
Not by me, it's not.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
Look, it's fine that I don't know a song. I don't understand how you're so shocked that I've never heard of this fucking thing.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. It's just that honestly breaks my brain. I just thought it was like a song that people knew.
No, we need to move on
All
because
right. Well, Athena is blinded by the light, which is a reference that apparently is just for me. Um, but we she's in a star cluster. Fuck it. We'll go there. Anyways, we then jump to the Galactica. Roslyn is talking to Adama, and we sort of get them discussing the situation. It's a bit of exposition. Basically all the food's been tainted. Like it got into like the newly like the food got into the like processed food. So like they just have no food. All of it's tainted for some reason. And so Sharon is out looking for a path to this planet that they found that has algae on it. Um, and basically, she's trying to find her way through this star cluster. Um, and Coddle also says that they've all been on rations, like they have 7 to 10 days of rations left. And Athena was due back about 3 hours ago, and there was strong radiation levels. Hilo also says she's a Cylon, so she'll probably make it back. She's strong. He can't say the word Cylon. He kind of hesitates on saying the actual word Cylon, but it is implied. So
Yeah. This is a very season one problem,
yes, very much so.
which under other circumstances, I might call out a show for. Like, really? Like you're so short of ideas, you're going back to the kind of stuff you did in season one. Honestly, I'd kind of been feeling like the show had been chickening out for how much it dug into logistical problems that other shows don't deal with. I'm actually kind of happy to see it. It's
Yeah.
kind of nice to see them go back to a basic, like, hey, just drifting out in space, there's no food. So if your food supply's fucked, you're in deep shit. Like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's tackle that problem.
Yep. So we have that as an issue. We then cut to the pilots. The pilots are all hanging out. You have Kat, Starbuck, and Apollo, and a bunch of others there, and they're sharing food, which is basically nothing. They got crumbs essentially,
Yeah,
and
they've got
Star
these little protein squares.
Yeah, and Starbuck accuses Kat of holding out, saying, "I know you have a protein bar," and Kat's like, "No, I gave it to Coddle. Like I don't have it." So they're basically getting paranoid and snipping at each other, specifically Starbuck at Kat, sort of touching upon the fact that they've always kind of had a rivalry for the show.
Yeah,
So,
which I have never found interesting.
well, it gets less interesting this episode.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Very
does.
to give away some of my thoughts on this one. Anyways, we then see Sharon's raptor is getting corroded by the star cluster. We'll come back to her in a minute. We then jump over to the Cylon base star. We have Deanna getting out of bed with Baltar yet again. Yay. But
Yeah, I just wrote down this shit still. Oh, one random tiny detail that does not matter, but made me cringe to fuck
mm-hmm.
in the previous scene. Starbuck, they're like gathering up the crumbs at one point, and Starbuck like gets the crumbs off the knife she'd been using.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the thing. It's like she goes to lick the crumbs off, and she does it the sharp end pointed into her mouth.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I understand it's a prop knife, but Jesus Christ.
I could see it. It's just weird because I think it's trying to show like she's a bit masochistic at this point and self-hating or whatever, which kind of goes from what we've seen
I
from her.
don't think
But
it's
still,
that. I think they thought it was badass.
maybe. Well, it's stupid, is what it is.
Well, yes.
Yeah. And hopefully to God, I'm sure it's a prop knife because that's dangerous for the actor. But, anyways, Deanna gets out of bed with Baltar, but Baltar this time sees her sneaking off, and he basically says, I'll never understand what you do all day. And as Deanna leaves, sort of like talking to her. But then as she's leaving, Six and Baltar start talking because, she wakes up. And Six is like, you're not the only one asking where she's going. She's been doing things. And Baltar sort of asks, what things? And that's where we end the scene. Because no one really knows. Ooh.
Yep. Still hate this shit. They're still shooting in the ethereal crossfade thing. That's still nice.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. It's become just the style of when we're there, and I think I appreciate that it like differentiates visually the like vibe of each of these areas, and makes the Cylon space just feel distinctly different, which I liked, and I wish we'd even gotten more of that earlier on in the show. We've talked about that before.
Yep. I still don't fucking buy that she's sleeping with Baltar.
No,
Like I legitimately don't buy it.
no, I don't either. He's got a penis, so we gotta
So
make him
do
use
other
it.
people on this ship.
I'm well aware, but it's a different penis.
That does not
Look,
make it special. There
look,
is
Gwen.
a fucking row of clones with penises.
Well, look, if you live on a ship where there's literally like hundreds of people, but only what, 4 different types of penises, you're gonna want a different penis after. I'm gonna stop this. I'm just saying, you see the same 4 or 5 penises over and over and over again. You want to see something new.
Were you stuck with the same penis for too long once?
I mean, yeah, for about 22 years.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd
Yeah,
go for that. I was deliberately setting you
yeah,
up.
yeah. I'm just saying, you got to get rid of it. Change it up a little bit. All right.
Oh no, I'm
Uh,
keeping mine.
yeah. Well, I changed
I
mine. It
I
was
have
fun.
lifelong love affair. I ain't ending this now.
Yeah. Well, I severanced it. Innie to an Audi. So it's fun. Or I guess an Audi to an innie. Depends on how you
I
categorize it.
hope so.
Depends on how you want to describe what to what. Anyways.
Moving on.
Anyways,
Oh
uh,
dear.
well, this is off the rails so hard in so many ways. We
Do
then,
the rails even still exist for this
I don't know,
podcast?
it's our last podcast of 2025. Fuck it, I say.
Yeah, I feel like the rails got torn up a while back.
Yeah.
We're just freewheeling at this point.
Yeah. Well, we jump back over to the Galactica. Sharon, Athena does get back. She arrives back on the Galactica. She says there is a way through the star cluster, um, but she has gotten a huge radiation dosage. Like she has and this becomes important later on. She has a sort of badge on her that detects radiation, and it's like how black it gets showcases how much radiation you've experienced. And hers
Hmm.
is solidly black. So she has taken a huge dose of radiation, which Coddle, I think some other, I forget who it may be, a Starbuck, I forget who it says, is that like, as a silent, she can probably handle it. Hilo's defensive of it. It's like, we don't know that, but presumably because she's a silent, she can take that dosage.
Plot convenience says,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's the that's one of the things that like I'm not gonna get hung up about it, but I am calling out this show at this point. Cylons are just like people, except when it is plot convenient for them to not be.
Yep, pretty
Cylons
much.
are undetectable from humans, yet can somehow stick electronics into their frickin' arms and it connects. Cylons are the same as humans, except they could throw huge metal desks once because it was an intense, brief moment. Except they can survive radiation because it's plot convenient.
Yeah. Well,
I guess it wouldn't bug me if so much of the plot wasn't revolving around how human they are. I'm like,
mm,
pick a fucking lane, man.
yeah. Well, we jump over to a briefing where, Adama and Ty and Apollo, and I think Rosalind's there as well, are kind of chatting out what to do. They can't make it through the star cluster with one single jump. They'd still be stuck in there. Can't like have people doing a bunch of return trips back and through there. You can't bring people, so they have to bring people to the food. Um, and
Yeah,
they are,
Galactica doesn't have the storage space to
yeah,
get sufficient food to bring back for the fleet,
yep.
but the fleet ships aren't equipped to be able to figure out their second jumps once they show up in the middle of this,
Cluster.
radiation and light blasting cluster.
Yes. So the idea that they come up with is to use pilot ships. There will be a Raptor sent out with every civilian ship, and they will make a trip through, and the Raptor ship will send the coordinates for the second jump back to the other civilian ship, and they'll jump together.
Mm-hmm.
So and they'll have to make 5 round trips in order to do this. So, yep. Um, we then,
The reason for the 5 round, just for clarity for listeners and viewers, the 5 round trips things has to do with the fact that there are fewer Raptors than there are civilian ships, so they can only move so many at a time, and that's even when taking what is normally a 2-person crew on a Raptor and cutting it down to 1 person per Raptor and using every Raptor they have. It's still going to take multiple times.
yep, indeed. We then cut to a briefing with our pilots. They make a point of, again, like, each individual pilot has to monitor their own badge. If it gets black, you can only take a certain amount of radiation dosage. It's going to be a lot of nausea as they do this, and everyone is going to be required to take stims. Which Kat is against taking the stims because, as people will remember, she got addicted to stims way back in, I think, season 1, maybe season 2. I forget exactly when it was.
I think it
But
was 2. Like the thing is, like she was addicted to stims, but like oddly, the argument she makes against them has nothing to do with the fact that she got
Yes.
addicted.
Yes, nothing at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little, I don't know.
Like Starbucks brings it up. She says you used to like Stim's cat, like as a dig
Yeah,
at her.
it was also in the previously on reestablishing that she'd had a stim problem, but like for what her actual argument, because her argument is that stims speed up your metabolism, but they are running on practically empty
Mm-hmm.
stub inks. They're speeding up something that's already running on empty.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to help, or is that going to make everything worse? Which is a legitimate concern that has nothing to do with her being an addict at one
I
point.
mean, my read on it was, it doesn't work for me, but my read on the intention of it was that they wanted to have her make it like she's making an argument that has nothing to do with it because she doesn't want to argue from the place of like I'm addicted to stims. Like she doesn't want to admit that she was addicted to stims. And so she would rather make an argument from a more utilitarian point that avoids the stims element of it. Why that doesn't work for me? Like that would work if like only Apollo and Starbuck or
I was gonna
something
say
knew.
everybody knows she was
Yes,
addicted to Sims.
that's
That
my
was in the
thing.
fucking documentary thing that Deanna made.
Yes, that's my thing. Is like if it was only Apollo and Starbuck who knew and she was kind of dancing around it and Starbuck like needled her with it publicly, that I think would work. But the fact that everyone knows, I don't know why like like her argument's valid, but it's just a weird one for her to make.
Yeah, I think the only reason this is here is to just find an excuse to have Starbuck needle her and reestablish the
Yeah, because the Stims,
rivalry thing.
like it's I
The,
guess
the,
tangentially related to what comes up later on, but it never really becomes a plot point again after this scene.
no, it like it doesn't matter at all. Because at first I was like, because I was trying to think like, well, maybe it's a case of they like, well, we're gonna have them do stims, and we have a character who has stims in their history, so we got to have her do something. Except that the fact that they're on stims really never comes up in any way, shape, or form. It's
No,
just this scene.
yeah, it's weird. Feels like it almost feels like a vestige of an earlier plot draft. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Anyways, we then cut to the first. We have civilians coming onto the Galactica because basically they're taking all the non-essential civilians from each ship onto the Galactica while they traverse the star cluster, so that if a ship does get lost in the star cluster, there's a failure, they don't lose as many people, which is
hmm.
smart, I think. So.
Yeah.
Uh, D says, I like that there's a point where D is like, as people are coming in, she says, there's no food on this ship. If people told you that, they were lying. Um, and you'll be returned to your ships later. But then a man who will say, who is titled, I think his name is Enzo.
Yeah.
I'm going to call Blandy McBlander Man. Um, like the most boring fucking dude of all time. Sees cat.
Like his personality is greasy hair and scruffy beard. That
Yes.
is his entire personality.
Skeezy Man.
Yeah.
Skeezy Man sees Cat, calls her Sasha. And she's like, "Oh, I'm not Sasha anymore." She's clearly trying to like be like, "No, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about." And he's like, "Oh, what? No more hanging with the sinners? Do they even know who you really are?" Sort of
The
thing.
instant he said that, I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's like, "Ooh, she has
Because
a
like
mysterious past."
so this also feels like season one shit, but this is unwelcome season one shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because like bringing back massive logistical problems that other shows gloss over, cool. That was one of your big selling points early on. Happy to see it again. This kind of stuff legit doesn't make sense to be doing at this point. Not that I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying that you can't justify it logistically, but like for how long Cat has been around and has been an active character involved in things to be pulling this whole mysterious, guilty past or whatever. First of all, the literal first thought I had is basically the end of the episode, which is the people in charge aren't going to fucking care. You've already
Mm-hmm.
proven yourself a valuable pilot. And even if you were a mediocre pilot, they need every pilot they can get. What are they going to strip you of rank because once upon a time you were a dickhead or a worse one than you currently are, at least? Like, who fucking cares? like I understand people will still have anxiety about that regardless, but we are so far into the show at this point, there feels like there's no stakes to that as just as a concept.
And like in season one, some of the stuff that some of the revelations, quote unquote, that we get later on would hold some level of weight in like season one, where it's like, ooh, I'm worried about being a traitor or how people will perceive me. But like at this point in the show, it's like a 2 year time jump we've had. Like who
Yeah,
gives a like
like
she's proven herself for several years at this point. Like who gives a
yeah.
shit?
That
Like
is always a thing that ticks me off whenever shows do this. Oh, someone from your past. Oh, they don't know who you really are. It almost never works, largely because it is done with characters who have been around for so long that you just can't imagine that the other characters are going to judge up. And of course, they never do. The plot of that thing every time it comes up in every show ever is that's okay. We know you as you are now and we don't care. Like it's such a tired fucking trope. The only time I can think of that I can remember it working for me at all was Giles in Buffy, because that is a case where it actually happened in season 2, so not as long a gap as this is. But also in addition to that, like his youth was so wild and so dissonant from what both we and the other characters do him as. It wasn't necessarily a case of they would no longer trust him, but it is a case of wait, what?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like that's the only one I can think of that works. The rest of this time, this plot just the stakes are all in one character's head. And it's not that you can't get a decent story out of a character thinking something is a bigger deal than it is, but this is just such a tired fucking plot line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's compounded by the fact that just the notion of bringing this and like they don't go down this path, but the only other thing you could do with a plot like this is this whole to what how far will she go to keep her secrets, except you have a built-in mechanism in this show to do that with, and it's the fucking Cylons. So why are you inserting somebody else to do that plot with? And this
Yeah.
I'm realizing this annoyed me more than I thought it
Oh
did.
yeah, no, this episode sucks. It's fine. It's all right. Uh,
Episode started out good.
yeah, it's sort of fine, but it's yeah, it's just this episode's terrible. I'll just tell you that there's nothing really great here. Um,
There's some good stuff.
I mean, yeah, there's some decent. Like, I'm not saying it's a complete wash, but as like on the plot level and structure level, it's like, what are we doing? Anyways, we then cut to back to the base star, the silent base star, and Balter sort of confronts Deanna. It's like, oh, I was talking. I was like, where have you been? What have you been doing? And she says, oh, I was talking with Simon about our path to Earth or whatever. And he's like, if I find the relevant Simon, would he be able to stay here at the meeting? And she's sort of like, she sort of confronts him on that, and he's like, well, look, I've been hearing you going off. Caprica's told me that. And do you know you have some dried goo in your hair from your resurrection pod? Which I thought was very funny. Uh,
I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was. I gave them some points for sneaking in a potential sex joke and not making it blatant. I
hmm.
didn't find it especially clever, but I am like, you could have been real crass with that. You just let it speak for itself. Fine.
It's better than, wow, I'm glad you taste like salt.
Oh,
uh,
Jesus Christ. Look, on balance, I'm mostly
yeah,
positive
same
on
here,
the
yeah.
war between the land and the sea, but what the fuck, Russell? Did you really have to get your count of inappropriate oral sex jokes in Doctor Who up from 1 to 2?
I mean, to
Was
be
that
fair,
really so vital?
I don't mind that joke. It just was so out of left field in a romance that I gave no shit about. Like in a different context, I feel like I could have been down for that joke, but that was not it. Anyways, we then Belter basically has basically figured out like you've been killing yourself over and over to download Death is a Revolving Door sort of thing. So basically, sussed out what Deanna's been doing, sort of
Yeah.
like killing herself over and over again to sort of live, um, to sort of see what's in between life and death. We then cut over to Kat and Sketchy Guy. He's basically like confronting her. He's like, she's trying to hide, him being seen with her. And he's like, look, I'm looking for a business partner, and she's like, it's like, I don't want to get you kicked out of service because then who's going to feed me? And he doesn't believe her that she doesn't have food. It's like, yeah, right. You don't have any food. Um, and he basically goes, I make you happy, don't I? And he like tries to hold her. I was like, yeah, you really care about me. I'm one of your own, sort of thing.
So, like, another aspect that I don't care for about this, and this one I'm sure was unintentional,
Mm,
but of course, let's have the character with an established drug problem also have a sketchy past. Because it's not like part of the potential power of a addiction storyline is that it can happen to people who you wouldn't expect it to. No, let's pick the addict character and be like, oh, and she has a rough and sketchy and crime riddled past. Fuck you.
yeah,
Again, I suspect that one was done thoughtlessly, but like, still, fuck off, man.
yeah, yeah. Well, we come to a good scene where we have Ty is in the hallway to CIC, and he sort of,
Sorry, it's just occurred to me. Just on the off chance, because I drink most of these times, since I brought up addiction, this is actually the only time of the week I drink is this podcast. I actually really feel the need to clarify that right now because I worry that people who watch this think I have a problem. And I'm not even going to make the joke if I can quit anytime. There's nothing to quit. This podcast is the only time of the week where I reliably drink literally anything.
so what you're saying is, I'm your problem and I'm why you drink.
You drive me to drink, Jesse. This is your fault. That is
Yeah,
exactly what I am saying.
I figured as much. I figured as much. And I'm glad to. I will slowly destroy your liver one podcast at a time. Uh,
Well, you haven't seen me drunk, so be careful what you wish for.
uh-huh, uh-huh. I've seen you drunk. I think you were drunk after my Identities premiere.
I
We
might have
did.
been.
I feel like you were. We got drunk
I was
food.
tipsy for sure. Here's the thing. I don't think I've gotten proper drunk
Yeah, you weren't
in
like
a
sloshed. Yeah,
decade.
yeah, you weren't sloshed at all.
I was buzzed for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
But also we all were.
yeah, yeah,
We were ordering Denny's at 3 o'clock in the morning for fuck's sake.
yeah. It was a good time. I enjoyed that.
That was good.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Oh, anyways, we then cut to, like I said, a good scene where Ty stops outside the hallway to CIC, and Adama sort of sees him through the window and kind of smiles to himself in his Adama E way. And then Ty comes in, finally works himself up enough to come in. People stare a little bit, but then they all clap and say, "Welcome back, sir." But Gata notably does not clap. He sort of notices it and it doesn't clap. Sort of awkwardly saunters off. And then Adama welcomes him back as well. So,
Oh, well, you missed Ty getting sick of the clapping, going, okay, enough of that, get to
yeah,
work,
yeah.
which was a moment I loved. And I think
Mm.
I feel like the CIC folks would have been disappointed if he hadn't said that.
Exactly, exactly. And he's got his nice eye patch on. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then we get the Raptors launching. We jump out to the first trip through the star cluster. Um, and there's lots of light. Everyone's kind of disoriented at first going through. Most everyone is able to find their civilian ships. One thing that was interesting to me is like they had to have a visual on the civilian
Yeah,
ship, so I
that
wasn't sure why
struck
that was
me
necessary.
as odd. Like there might be a bit of dialogue that I missed that like if the communications are so fucked that maybe they need line of sight for like a targeted
Point to point.
communications burst or something. There might have been a line attributing to that, but yeah, I found myself thinking the same thing. Like that's odd that they need line of sight, but like there are ways to
Yeah,
cover
yeah,
for
there are
that.
ways to explain it.
They may or may not have even done it, and I just missed it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes sense. It was just one of those like, oh, I guess they need visuals. But anyways, everyone but Hot Dog isn't able to get their civilian ships and find them and transmit the coordinates. But Hot Dog cannot. He's like basically saying, I can't find my ship, the Adriatic. I need to get a visual. And the Galactica basically says, you've all got to jump. It's time to jump. We got to go. You're hitting your radiation dosage. And Hot Dog kind of begs for a second. He's like, no, please. And then when everyone else jump, he sort of stays for a second, yells Frak, and then finishes his jump as well. And they lose his ship. So,
Yep.
yep. So I will say I did really like Hot Dog's stress and freaking out there.
Hot dog
Yeah.
shit. Honestly, I like this whole plot and this whole aspect of the episode and the way this is done. Like, there's a very high degree of intensity in these scenes, visually, audibly. Like, you really sense how overwhelmed they are. And then, basically, every time we see the pilots between these missions to guide these ships, they look like
Shit.
shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of them do. I think it does a really good job of driving home how taxing this is on the pilots. And they do it on multiple levels by really making it a very overwhelming thing in the scenes where they're in, this star cluster, and then, showing what they look like coming out of it. They look like absolute hell. Like that.
Radiation poisoning is fucking horrible.
Oh
Like
yeah, it's
one of the worst
dear
ways to die. Yeah.
good grief, horrifying. And I think this show, with this specific aspect of this episode, this is the best stuff. Like this, the nature of how they got into this problem, what they have to do to get through it, emphasizing how hard and difficult this is. Again, this is the good parts of season one that the show hasn't done in a while, and I'm happy to see them again.
Yes. One thing that I found weird because we go to the next scene after a commercial break, and now we're already on outbound trip 4. It was like a big jump to me. I feel like we went from 1 to 4, and I get like the episode speeding along, but it's just one of those like, wow, we went from 1 to 4, we skipped like 3 of them. I don't know.
I
Felt
mean,
I
I
get
I get it. Like, especially because I suspect it would have flowed better with the actual time of
mm,
and we've run into that a couple times this season where, like, coming back from where it was very clear the ad break was, is like, boy, that's a weird thing to come back on. But it's if when I stop and think about it, like, that probably flows a lot better with like a
like a
five
5 minute
to
break. Yeah.
5 to 6 minutes worth of ads. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, on outbound trip 4, Kat cannot find her ship. Um, but she's able to find it for like a brief second, but loses it again. Her radiation monitor is black, and just completely on, but she stays a few extra seconds, but is unable to get her ship.
Yep.
She arrives back on the Galactica, and this goes to the scene that you were saying, like everyone looks like shit. We kind of see Kat kind of catatonically walking through everything. Like pilots are being pulled out of their ship. Hilo is like angry and like throwing shit. Pilots are vomiting and getting sprayed down. It's pretty awful.
Yep.
We then cut over to Apollo giving a briefing on the flight deck. He's like, "We lost another ship. We got to get back better, quicker reaction times out of the jump." Um, and yeah, so yeah,
Yeah, and he's like, check your instruments, and I forget who it was who said it, but somebody's like,
instruments are crap. Yeah,
the instruments don't fucking work
yeah,
in this situation, dude.
yeah. It's like we're trying our best, man. He's like, "All right, it's
Well,
time."
the thing is, you have this pause from Apollo. He doesn't even push back on that. I think, like, he knows,
Yeah.
like, he's doing the job that he's expected to do, keep everybody on point. But yeah, he knows it's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
He's out there with them. He knows.
Yep. And yep, return. So they have one more to go. They're going to return force. They have one more to go. We then cut to another good scene between Ty and Adama. Ty's
Oh
kind
yeah,
of give
this one was good. I
Yeah.
like that.
Ty's giving like an update. An update. He's like, yeah, the Marines are too weak to work. You know, the last batch of passengers are causing trouble. That we brought them to the planet, and like they make a joke about like, yeah, people think there's a diner down there, like ready with the food. It's like it's got to be processed. They all have empty stomachs. I even hear that people are eating paper. Is that true? And then like Ty's like, no, paper shortage. And then Adama just starts like laughing. They both kind of laugh at the joke.
Yeah.
And Adama just goes, "Not a good sign." So yeah, they
Like,
managed to,
Adama laughs so much he starts coughing. That's
yeah,
how much like. It's great because it's one of those real cathartic moments where it's like, oh, these guys just needed any reason to find that they could find to laugh.
hmm
Wow, they needed that.
yeah. It was a very good scene. I really
That
liked
was
it.
great. That was a wonderful scene.
We then see the plot beat that was inevitable, which is Starbuck sees Kat talking to Shifty Guy, and so is aware of that. We then cut over to Baltar and Deanna. And they're sort of chatting about what she sees between deaths. It's like when you resurrect, you see the faces of the final five. And she's sort of like showing him drawings of the pictures that she's been doing. It's like it's all rubbish. I can't remember any of it. Um, and
Oh, I just put that together. So are we meant to take that the hooded figures are the final five?
yes, the photo figures in the opera house are the final five. Yes.
What the fuck are we doing, man? What the hell is this? What the
uh,
heck? God damn it. Uh,
mhm.
look, look. I don't have a problem with the fact that that we're 3 seasons out of 4 in, and there are slightly less than half of the Cylons haven't been revealed yet. And I understand holding that many back for this long is tricky, finding an excuse to not have revealed more of them. But this, the fuck, the like, oh, even the other Cylons don't know who they are. Bullshit. Fucking why? The fuck? Like, and look, maybe there's a reason. Maybe I'll get a reason. I think it just speaks to how I've detached from a lot of the jangling keys that this show waves in front of me. I'm like, get those fucking keys out of my face. Is
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at with a lot of this stuff.
All I will say is there is a reason. Whether or not you like the reason will be up to you, but there is a reason.
Hey, if there is a reason, that's something. I'll
I'll
take
tell you
it.
that. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But get ready for the jingling keys, the final five, for a good chunk of time.
See, you know what's real frustrating about hearing that is in theory, with what, season and a half left to go,
hmm
that is a fair pace to be revealing them at a steady pace. But if they're clustering them together like this to me says they're just going to find excuses to trail out, revealing, if not all five right away, at least a cluster of them at once. I'm like, you have no sense of pacing at all, do you, Ron?
We'll find out.
Ah.
That's all I will say. Anyways, Baltar says to her, it's like, she kind of asks, like, why do you give a shit? And Baltar is like, I could be a Cylon, and I would like to know if I am or not. It's like, if I'm a Cylon, I would stop being a traitor to one people and be a hero to another and have a place to belong. You would help me understand my destiny. And so basically, yes, have you seen my face? And she's like, I can't really remember. And he basically
And
says,
I will
well,
reiterate, he better not be a Cylon. If he's a Cylon, I'm gonna scream bullshit so loud it's gonna blow the mic out.
I'm not gonna say shit, but yeah, he just says we're all trying to discover who we are, aren't we? Regardless of whether he ends up being a Cylon or not, I do like his desire to be a Cylon. That I find
Yes,
interesting.
that I think is well justified within character because he knows he can't go back.
Yeah, all the humans hate him, and it's like if he's any the Cylons don't particularly like him either. But if he is a Cylon, then he can belong somewhere, and even some senses be considered like important, considering how much like weight they give to the final five within the Cylons, which is what he would
Yeah,
want. He would want
yeah,
to
yeah,
be.
yeah.
He would want to be important.
His at least hinted desire to be, because like before when the idea was floated, um, it was a lot of concern. Like he was terrified at the notion. The idea that he's been sitting with that thought long enough that he's kind of drifted into actually
hmm
that based actually
Yeah, I
like
would
that
like that. Yeah.
he's kind of drifted in that direction. No, it makes sense for him.
Yep. So I do like that. We then cut to Starbuck going over to Kat. Um, and kind of confronts her on asshole man because he's figured out some stuff. She's figured out some stuff, I should say. And Kat basically reveals like I used to be a drug runner. I took the name of Kat from someone 2 days before coming aboard Galactica, and that got me through the background checks. Um, and Starbuck gets all up in Kat's face about like people think that's how Cylons got into Caprica through drug runners, like because they were running people, they used criminals in the capital. And she's like, we didn't traffic Cat's like, we didn't traffic Cylons. And she's like, how do you know that? You could be a traitor and we kill traitors. Like, you think I'm a traitor? And Starbuck's like, you're a smart woman. You're just not smart enough to accept who you are. You lied your way into the company of good people. And then basically Kat begs Starbuck not to tell the admiral, and after a second where she sort of realizes that's not going to work, she says, "At least let me tell him myself. Can you let me do that?" And Starbuck seems to acquiesce to that.
Can I also mention at this point, I could have sworn that we'd done enough stuff with Starbuck that she was over this petty bullshit too.
Yeah, this feels very much like just well, either a few episodes ago Starbuck or like season two Starbuck. Like
Yeah,
this
well,
feels
like
like
it,
pre it had this had to either be a few episodes earlier where Starbuck was more unhinged,
yeah, when she
or
was crashing out, and then it would make more sense that she's backsliding on other shit.
yes, or it had to be before the episode Scar, where she kind of had a level of resolution with Kat, like some coming to terms with like we're not besties, but like I get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Either one of those would have worked way better, but instead we have she resolved her issues with the cat in fucking theory.
Hmm.
And then she had a crash out, and it would have made sense if during that she decided to reopen old wounds, but she's supposedly recovered from that. So what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know if she's recovered, but she seems like she seems to be on the upswing from it, from her
Yes.
crash out, and this does not mesh because this is just way too hard. This is like weirdly cruel, Starbuck.
Yeah,
Like
it's
like
mean,
Star
it's petty bullshit. Like what the fuck is this?
yeah, the whole like you lied your way in a company of good people. I'm like, you've known her for like 3 fucking years. Like what?
You've known her for 3 years. You also know full well that when she came in with that batch of recruits, you were literally taking anybody
Uh-huh.
with even the tiniest hint of the ability to train. So like, get the yeah, piss
Yeah.
off, man.
Yeah. Anyways, we then have a scene with Baltar and Deanna going to the hybrid. And basically Baltar's like, oh, so this is where you get the idea. And he goes to touch, Baltar goes to touch the hybrid, and the hybrid grabs him. And she says, intelligence, a mind that burns with fire, find the hand that lies in the shadow of the light, in the eye of the husband of the eye of the cow, or something like that. Um, and
Yep.
Deanna's like, I think she speaks nonsense. And Baltar's like, I don't think what she says is
Oh, hold
nonsense.
on.
Yes.
Pronoun correction.
Yes.
Deanna calls the hybrid it
Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
always.
Mm-hmm.
Because it came up in a couple of lines in this scene, and I noted that, and that was real interesting
Mm-hmm.
for because like we've already noted that like there was the notion that they were trying to decide something like the hybrid doesn't get a vote.
Which was also said by Deanna, I should say. Like
Yeah,
other people seem to like have at least a level of consideration for that. It's like, oh, the hybrid disagrees, and Deanna says it doesn't get a vote in that scene.
yeah,
So at the very least, Deanna does not respect the personhood of the hybrid, I guess is the best way
yeah.
to put it. So, mm-hmm. So that's interesting. But yes, we get a prophecy here, and
My fucking favorite.
yes, and Baltar basically kind of works it out of like, oh, you know, Hera is sometimes referred to a cow-eyed hero, god. Basically, you know, there's something called the Eye of Jupiter, and it's at a location between a planet hidden in a cluster of stars, which I wonder what cluster of stars that could be.
I wonder. Slightly odd that they're now mixing and I can't remember. It's we've been doing this so long. I can't remember if we had come across before them mixing and matching Greek and Roman names.
They've done it a few times, yes.
Yeah, I
So,
thought, yeah. I
yeah.
can't remember the last time that they did it, but again, it jumps out at me every damn time.
Yeah, they've done it a couple times. So yeah, the Eye of Jupiter is the thing to be looking for within a cluster of stars, which almost certainly is hinted at to be the same cluster of stars that the Galactica is currently going through. So I wonder if the planet that we're going to be at, is going to be important. I wonder. Who could say? Who could say? Um, and he also, Baltar also sort of presumes, like she says something about the hand, and he's sort of like, oh, hand as in five faces. And now all we have to do is find the right planet and the right star cluster. So he thinks that they'll be able to see the final five if they find where this Eye of Jupiter is.
Yep.
So, yep. We then cut back to Kat. Kat's hair is starting to fall out from radiation poisoning. Her badge is really black.
I mean,
Um,
it's fully black. It's
yeah.
there's nothing left.
Yes. Then Kat goes to Enzo and basically says, "You're a thieving bastard. You ruined everything I got." Then she makes out and kisses him at one point, like with him.
For some fucking reason. And
Yeah.
completely zoned out at that point. I don't know if it implied that they had sex or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember because the instant that scene started, my brain fucking checked out.
Well, that's okay because we never see him fucking again. So
Good,
who
I
gives a
guess.
shit? Then we see Kat going back out on her fifth round trip. Um, And a similar thing happens. Kat is unable to find her ship, the Farusaden. I forget how exactly, but her ship essentially. The Galactica tells them they all need to jump. Kat says she's not losing another one, so she stays in the star cluster, even though her badge is fully black. And they get the Galactica is waiting for her on the other side, and she does eventually bring the ship back, saying mission accomplished. So,
Here's one of the odd things about that. She did literally only save the ship
mm,
because in theory, whatever crew were on that thing are just as cooked by radiation as she is.
yeah. Well, presumably not.
Well,
Uh,
that's true. She's been going back and forth
yeah.
repeatedly.
Yeah, so they probably have a high dosage of radiation. They're probably feeling like shit, but they probably are going to be okay.
Oh, fair point.
So, yeah, I think the pilots were given like their badges were like, okay, you only can get you have to do this at least 5 times, so this is for five, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
Um,
No, you're right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're trying to be a nitpicking asshole, and nope, not gonna work. Um,
No, I wasn't actually even doing that for a nitpick. I think if it was accurate, it's not. But if it was, it would have just spoken to like how latched in on this concept of I won't lose another ship she was, even because if I was right, it would mean she's not even saving any people. She's literally just saving the ship because she's made up her mind that she can't fail doing this and she has to follow through.
mhm.
It
Yep.
doesn't mean that. So like I wasn't even nitpicking. I
Yeah.
actually thought it was possibly spoke to specifics of her character, but I fucking guess not. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Kat comes back and everyone claps for her, including Starbuck, but then she
Lots
falls.
of everyone claps
Yeah,
scenes in this one.
yeah. But then she falls over and we end up with Kat in sickbay and Starbuck is there. Starbuck says, "You wanted to see me." She's like, Kat says, "I don't think we should end the way we did." And Starbuck's like, "I think everyone is stuck with the things they're not proud of, and I didn't mean what I said." And then Starbuck gives her sleeping pills and says it's enough, so take them if you want. So basically, she can die by suicide by sleeping pills if Kat so chooses. So this is a resolution between her and Kat in a way.
Resolution for the contrivedly reignited rivalry.
Rivalry, yeah. But then we have Adama goes to see Kat, which this I do like, this scene. And Kat says, I'm sorry to him. And he's like, no, I'm not here to lecture you. I'm letting you know about a promotion. I'm making you a CAG again. You earned it. What you did was harder than facing a bullet. I don't know if I could have done that. I wish there was more I could give you. And Kat's like, no, I'd love to be CAG very much, but there's a reason you might not want to do this. I wanted to tell you myself. And he says, and this is the resolution that you already said was going to come is like I don't need to know what I already know is you protected your people, made them feel safe enough to be brave is what you were going to say going to change that. And she says no, she nods no. And he starts sitting and she's like, yeah, I'm staying. I love this sick bay in a way. It reminds me of where my son Zach was born, and he talks about like, my wife was convinced she was having a girl and she was surprised both times. And Kat's like, did you want a girl? And I say, yeah, three's a good round number. So
Yeah. It's
Dama's got a thing for surrogate daughters who are also pilots.
yeah. It's a sweet scene. It is the exact resolution to her whole my awful past shit that I called the instant the fucking plot line started. So
Mm,
it loses a little bit for that. It's less a problem innate to the scene than it is fuck have I seen this a lot.
yep. Well, we have Adama puts Kat's name up as CAG, and she is honored by all of the other pilots, including Starbuck. And then Starbuck goes to the memory wall and puts up a picture of Kat, and Apollo is also there in the background. Because Kat be dead. She dead now. She's dead, 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 dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a dead cat. uh,
Put that one on doesthecatlive.com.
yeah, all right, all right. Yep, that's the end of the episode. What'd you think?
The core plot that everything else is revolving around, I like a lot. I like how it's executed. I like that we're back on a core logistical problem. I think the intensity of it is well handled. We have a couple of sporadic good scenes. Adama's scene with Ty, Adama's scene with Kat. Um, Other than that,
Yeah.
whatever, man, whatever.
I think my big problem with it, beyond what we've already talked about, just to mention another thing, is like it's so fucking vague. It like Enzo Blandy McBlanderman is just like a vague guy who shows up. We don't learn like we learn vaguely that Kat was a drug runner. Like what would have helped this in my mind is if we gotten a little bit more specifics about like the kind like why was she drug running? What kind of person was she when she was drug running? Like just something. And it's just kind of like vague backstory.
It kind of does lean. Actually, it's God. It even predates when this thing is. It is a very kind of 90s 80s thing. This notion of, oh, drug runner, bad person. By
Hmm.
the time this came out, I think more context would have been valid. Like, was she doing this because she just wanted the money? She thought it was thrilling. She
Yeah,
desperately needed the money
that's what I'm
because her
saying. Yeah, like
situation was fucked. Like, this came out at a time where that is a level of nuance I would have kind of expected. And instead, it's kind of just doing the 90s, 80s things of like, drugs bad.
yeah, that's the thing that gets me about it is just like there's this really doesn't tell me all that much about Kat, especially in an episode where you're
Yeah.
gonna kill her off. It feels like if you're gonna do that, like tell me a little bit more something about her. And like I get the whole thing, like she's changed from where she was, but I don't know where she was. What kind of person was she? Like was she
Yeah.
like if you really wanted to sell this plot line and make it hit harder, have her have been like we learn in her backstory she was a very undependable person. Like she didn't follow through on things. She ran away from shit whenever she could. Like even that level of it that would at least make her like I'm gonna stick with this and literally die to save these people would make that be like, oh, look, she's changed and that's the person she is now after 2 years of doing all this shit. But we don't even
Yeah.
get that. So,
It's true. Like they tell us nothing about her motivation, so we don't know anything about who she was, only what she did. And that's
yeah.
kind of what I mean by it's this like I'm assuming it's taking it from a moral absolutist standpoint of like, oh, involved in drugs, bad person. But even if it's not that, that's just hollow as hell. Like telling us what a person did tells us shockingly little. Telling
Mm-hmm.
us why they did it is
Mm-hmm.
what matters, and they
They
don't.
don't, and it doesn't tie into the like it doesn't tie into her emotional arc all that much other than just like not wanting to be seen as a bad person by the people around her, which like motivates her to do what she does and leads to her death, which whatever, but like it doesn't really feel like a fully rounded character arc within the episode. And so it
No,
just kind
it
of is a
doesn't.
weak, it's just a weak ending for a character who, like, wasn't my favorite, but I found her at least an interesting sort of like wrinkle within the pilot dynamic. You know what I mean?
It feels very much like the decision was made for her to leave. Maybe she asked to be
I'm
written out of
curious
the
now.
show, or maybe they decided that they wanted to just trim the cast a little, whatever it might be. I feel like the decision to kill the character off came first, and this was what they threw together. Like, well, we got to give her a send off episode, and this is what it ended up being.
All it says here is the episode was heavily re-edited from the initial rough cut, was shot drastically changing it merely from the not from merely from the original script, but what was planned when initially shooting. So like apparently this was a re-edited to hell episode, um, which is interesting. It doesn't feel that incoherent.
No, no, it doesn't. I mean, like you kind of mentioned, it feels a little bit first drafty, but in a this wasn't part of a greater plan way, not in
Mm,
a chopped up and reconfigured way.
yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to my original. So this is from Jane Espenson who wrote the episode. My episode originally had a Laura story threaded through it that had to be cut in later drafts because there was just too much story in the episode as a whole, and I missed it just because it was so much fun to write. That doesn't really say much.
No,
Let's see. I'm trying to see here. Give me 2 seconds.
especially since that sounds like that was something that was cut during the writing phase.
Let's see. Oh, there's just some interesting stuff about the hybrid dialogue. They have to write all that dialogue for her, which is always interesting. Um. The actor who played Enzo said he thought it was a really deep character, which,
I mean, like, to be fair, dude's a day player. Like, hustle, man.
yeah.
Like, get what you can out of the work you get. So
Yeah,
he
there's nothing.
he wasn't the problem. The script was the problem.
Yeah, there's nothing here. And Jane Espenson's a writer who I really like, so I presume like there was probably more meat on this than there actually ended up being. Because Jane Espenson's a writer she wrote on Buffy, she wrote on Angel, she wrote on Firefly. She's written a bunch of other. She wrote on the animated series The Batman. So she's a writer that I really like. Um, but yeah, this was kind of a blah episode from that point. So I'd be curious to know what was changed so much. So, but
Yeah.
she is going to be a regular. She will write more episodes in seasons 3 and 4. But she's a writer that I just generally enjoy. In fact, I remember as a kid, she was like the first female writer that I really kind of knew about that I like followed. So I have a
Mm.
soft spot for Jane Espenson. So
Oh,
yeah.
swing and a miss on this one.
Sadly, that is the case. All right. Anything else to say, Avira?
Nah.
Alrighty then, stuff time.
Stuff. You want to find my stuff, you can look for Council of Geeks. Patreon pays the bills. Any help is greatly appreciated right now. But even if you can't help me out that way, the main thing that helps fund is the Council of Geeks YouTube channel, which I would love to see get over 100,000 subscribers this year. So if you aren't already subscribed, it would be shocking to me if you weren't, if you're listening or watching this. But hey, throw it out there anyways. New videos every single Saturday over there. I don't know what's going. Hang on, let me pull up my docket. The one coming up is either going to be, or no, not coming up. The most recent video will either have been one on video game AI scandals, or it'll have been on talking about the notion that your media tastes are not your morals.
Hmm.
Um,
Which is a good video.
Thank you. It'll be one of those two, will be the most recent one that has come out. There's also the Break Room of Geeks, where I talk about whatever I have watched, listened to, played, or read lately. And if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, that's also where you can go to see our lovely faces. Or you can go to the podcast feed to avoid our faces if you'd rather.
Yes, please.
Um,
Yes. No
you
one
can
wants to
also
see
find
this.
Council of Geeks on Blue Sky.
Blue
Is the
sky.
That is the geeky stuff. There's also the spicy stuff.
Also the spicy stuff.
And for that, you can look for Vera Wild. Wild is spelled Wilde. You can find increasingly spicy content
Increasingly spicy content.
on YouTube, TikTok.
You can find me at Jesse Gender. I do video essay style of stuff. Will not be out yet, but in the next week or two, my video on the Ferengi of the best aliens in Star Trek will be out. I'm very proud of that video. Please check out that one. It's a big one.
That one's also very good. I've seen it.
Yeah, I love that episode, that one. So check out that video if you can. I also have a secondary channel called Jesse Ginger After Dark, where I do news, reviews, reactions. I am currently reviewing Star Trek Starfleet Academy, which, by the way, for those who might be avoiding it because they disliked Strange New World season 3, or don't think that a Star Trek show focused on Gen Z or even younger folks would be for them, give this one a watch. I actually think it is really, really good. It is some of the best live action Star Trek we've gotten in a long while, I would say, especially episode 4 and 5. So give it at least a chance. But yeah, but if you want to hear my deeper thoughts, go check out those reviews. I'm also on Blue Sky and Instagram, and I am also on Nebula, which is the streaming service that houses my movie Identities, which you can go check out there, as well as the show Subliminal, which will be coming out sometime later this year in 2026. One of the episodes I directed an episode, I should be clear, not the whole show. And that is pretty much everything that I have. Anything else, Elvira?
Nah.
Oh, and Patreon. Sorry, and Patreon. Give me money. I need to pay my bills. But yeah, beyond
Don't
all
we
that,
all?
I hope you all then live long and prosper.
Be seeing you.